Okay, cool. So, Ryan, so you originally wrote the play after Trayvon Martin's murder, as no one asked you how you felt and you wanted to open that dialogue. What type of message do you hope Black and non-Black audiences will take away from this play? And if you could choose between them, who would you want the play to impact most out of Black audiences?
Cool. Sorry, no. No. I'll start again. Cool. No, I think when you said I wrote it because no one asked me how I felt, I was like, that's not how I wrote it. Cool. What was the question again, please?
Okay, so and then I'm going to change the question because you know what? When I got the write-up, it had on there that no one asked you how you felt, and I thought, oh no, that's not nice.
No, I had to write a whole play about that. So like, cool. All right, cool. I'm back.
So I'm going to change the question in that case because the information, because we basically get like a sheet of all this like information about you, and I was like, oh, okay, no one asked him.
Some moody guy. Okay, cool. Sorry.
So,
all right.
Okay, in that case, so you wrote. I'm correct in thinking that you did write the play after, or it was inspired after Trayvon Martin's murder.
Yeah. It was inspired by Trayvon Martin murder. It was also inspired by reading for colored girls. What's the title of that play? For colored girls who were considered suicide when the rainbow wasn't enough. I read that in 2011, and there was so much happening in life to me personally and in my community, and I was like, we need, what is the Black male equivalent to this story? Do you know what I mean? I understood what that did for Black women in the 1970s in America, but I was like, what is the Black British equivalent to this? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I've been really trying to dig deep into that over the last 10 years. And Tristan's actually been a lot of that part, a big part of that journey as well, really trying to articulate what the feelings, what the anxieties, the pressures, the love and the joy of young Black men in this country specifically is. And I think that's what this play is a culmination of.
Yeah. And do you think, because obviously you'll get such a mixture of audience members that come in, would you say that you wrote the play specifically for within our Black community, or was this a play that kind of opens the eyes up for all?
It's a play for society as a whole. There's something for every walk of society in this play, but specifically for Black boys. Do you know what I mean? If I could only have one demographic come to this play, then it would be that. Do you know what I mean? But in saying that, it is opening up the hearts and the minds of young Black boys, and everybody needs to hear that and needs to see that and feel that. So that's why it's an important play for everybody.
No, I totally agree. I agree with you. I guess because I was going to ask you actually about the title, which you kind of mentioned. So I'm just going to ask you, as you said, it is, I'm guessing it's heavily inspired by for colored girls who consider suicide when the rainbow is enough. What is there any kind of like similarities within the original story to your play, or is it completely different?
I think the similarities kind of start and end with the fact with how urgent that play was. How Black women at that time needed it. And I think what we've done is we've taken that, but we've made this, and I think Tristan could even talk more on that in terms of it stylistically. We've made it something that is relevant to us now, to young Black men right now. So it would be weird to kind of imitate what they had done there. We've kind of looked at what they've done and we've admired it and we've gone, that's incredible. But what is the equivalent of that now for us?
Okay. No, it definitely does. Thank you. Tristan, can I just ask you what attracted you to direct this play? I know, as Ryan says, you've like collaborated on it as well, but what kind of drew you into the whole idea of a play that focuses around, you know, Black men, Black boys and mental health?
Well, firstly, I'm a Black boy. I'm a Black man myself, and I'm a Black British man. And I think what first excited me about its subject matter is the fact that it really wants to explore the lives of Black British men. I feel like when it comes to exploring Blackness, especially when they explore blackness that's not in a way that is naturalistic. And that's another thing that we invite into this play. It tends to, or rather, let me say it like this, the work that gets celebrated that's non-naturalistic and black tends to be very American. Sometimes you get stuff from the African continent every so often if they feel like it. And then you get nothing from like Britain when it comes to like non-naturalism. And when I say non-naturalism, this is not necessarily me saying I hate naturalism. Actually, I actually quite love it. But what I mean is something that wants to experiment with form in a way that is that informs the content and plays with the content, plays with space. That's what excited me. And I love things that want to explore Black people's imagination. I love anything about a Black person's imagination because I don't think we get to exercise it enough. I feel like this society has made us feel like we can't imagine more in order to do more, be critical of more, create more, create bigger, create wilder. I don't think there's enough of that. And I think this particular play, as deep as the subject matter is, and as real as the subject matter is, it also asks us to imagine what else. And I really like that. I really, really like the idea of imagining what else there is. And if there's anything that people watching this play that they can leave with, if there's even one thing, at the very least, they go, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So those two things, exploring non-naturalism, and exploring that voice in a Black British context, as well as exploring Black imagination. And also when I say that, I don't want to negate the work of some of our forefathers and our foremothers and our fore guardians and role models like David Tucker Green, like Winston Pinnock, and their contemporaries and the contemporaries of my generation now. In fact, I am upholding them and I'm saying this will help us look at them and look further and look this way, look that way. Do you know what I mean? We are all in the top, we are all here. You forgot that we can do this. Did you forget that we could do stuff like this? Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree. I think I always say, like with theatre especially, that our voices are not always heard in the way it should be heard. And I struggle sometimes to watch plays that are too heavily focused on like our suffering when it comes to like slavery, those sorts of things. But we never see plays that kind of like touch on our topics right now that can help us glow and just do like, you know, just tells our modern stories. So I think it's important to have stories that represent modern Black British people, whether it's male or female. So I think, and I totally agree, I think what you guys are creating is hopefully can make a difference and force theatres to change.
And may I say something on that as well, just on the fact that I think it's not just, because one of the ethoses that I go with is we're not allowed, I don't think we should be silencing anybody's stories. And I'm not saying that we all are, but what I'm saying is we are very aware that certain types of stories that get told, and even those types of stories are not always told by us. So the way in which we hear them is already skewed. One thing about this play that is very exciting is that there is a super variety, diversity of Black stories told in a myriad of different ways. You know what I mean? That is what is important. It's not just the story, but how it's being told. What perspective are we looking at? How are we dissecting it apart? I think that's an issue. That's the big issue. We don't have a space where we can have all these different stories told in all these different ways and it all be valid. And that is British society as a whole. British society is like, oh, okay, here's the one Black. Here you go. Done for you. Do you know what I mean? That's it. That's the end. And that is what's harming us. Because I would say the same thing in that if we did like stories about hoodies and stuff like that, we already said that okay, we are tired of stories about hoodies and things like that. I'm not tired of the story. I'm tired of the way it's being told. And I would be as tired of the way it was being told if it was a story about Black lawyers. Here's a whole group of Black lawyers told in the same way all the time. That is an issue. That is a problem. So I just wanted to highlight that it's not just the story, it's the way that they're being told, and the myriad of ways that we can hold a space for all of these stories to be told in there.
No, I agree. I totally agree. It's not the story as such, because obviously our stories are very important, but it's just most of them are written, I believe, by people that have their ancestors never went through this. So it's usually from a white perspective story rather than from our perspective, which can be very damaging to our community. So totally agree. So I was going to ask you both a question just on the play itself. So given that therapy is often frowned upon within our community, it is unusual to see a play centralised around therapy amongst Black men. What do you think can be done to help Black men seeking mental health services? And is there anything in the play that can help encourage this?
Okay, I'll go. Yeah, I think for me, the big thing about this play is the idea of Black men talking among other Black men, period. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that can save lives. I feel like young Black men specifically, because young Black men grow to be old Black men, we are groomed to not be able to show our emotions. You know, and I believe that plays a massive part in mental health, emotional health, physical health. You know, there's massive parts of this play where we talk about not being able to go and even get checked up, because that's a mark of weakness. Do you know what I mean? So that's a massive thing of about this play and where it is set. I needed it to be set in the kind of environment that would freely allow people to be able to talk to one another. And as the play develops, they are also allowed to grow a brotherhood and a fellowship among one another. That means that you can actually talk about deep, dark things that there's no place in society that would allow you to. Not even a barbershop would allow you to get that deep into a subject matter. So that's why the idea of therapy, group therapy, talking therapy was very was used as a playground for this play. Yeah, Tristan, did you want to jump in?
I think in one thing that this play has taught me, and then I'll speak about therapy in general, but one thing this play has taught me is that it is very therapeutic to have someone to just listen to you and not have audio, but to genuinely listen. We're human beings, so sometimes I guess we won't be able to always do it without judgment. But to have someone that cares about you, I think that's the other thing, someone that cares about you to listen to you. That this play has reminded me of how powerful and how impactful that is. So, I mean, I don't know if this completely answers the question, but I just want to say that it is already therapeutic to just listen to someone, genuinely. And no, you don't have to have all the answers in order to help them, one. And two, in terms of therapy itself, one thing I've come to learn is if we're going to go to therapy, one thing I've come to learn is that therapy is not everything that they show you on Instagram or on Twitter or on social media in general. Therapy is not what everybody thinks it is. Therapy is the unraveling of you, the unwinding of you, and then dissecting and looking at those parts of you. Well, that's what I found it to be anyway. And I want more Black men to do it because we need to be unraveled, because we're so tightly bound up in all these things that tell us that we are not allowed to be anything but the super hyper tough, unbreakable warrior that is killing on ourselves, metaphorically and physically. But what I want people to be reminded about when it comes to therapy is that it's not that, it's unraveling. And if you can stand, just allow yourself to unravel, the fruits that will come from it will be far greater than you can ever imagine. It is work. Do the work. Do the work. decide to do the work. I cannot force you. None of us here can force you. But do the work. Do the work, and what will come out of it is far greater than you'll ever be able to imagine, because there's one thing that therapy has allowed me to do, which is linked to what I said just before, which is now I can listen way better. I can listen way better. My empathy levels are like so much deeper, but I'm also a bit more contained in myself. And the play gives you many examples of what happens when that happens, when your empathy levels are increased. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Well, thank you both for that. Sorry, just going back to my long list of questions. This is a question for you both, which is, there are many characters in your play. Is there a specific character that has impacted you most?
For me, as a director, I guess it's not necessarily a character that's impacted me the most, but a character whose journey has been one of the most enlightening for me. Enlightening, as in I wouldn't think, which is a character called Midnight, and seeing how that journey has progressed. That for me has been like, oh, I'm learning about, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say exactly what I'm learning about, but I'm learning about something. I'm learning about something right now. So I won't say impact, but insightful. There are lots of characters and stories, rather. Do you know what? This is it. Not that there's lots of stories that are impactful to me, but they're spread out across all the actors and all the characters. So it's like, I can't choose one, because that story, yes, that story wasn't my story, but I've learned something. But that other story was my story. And that other story and that other character, I think that's nothing like me, that story is me. So what does that now mean? Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
No, it does. It makes me very intrigued by the whole play, because obviously it's multiple people's stories that have inspired you. So even though you can't tell us about Midnight, obviously Midnight its journey has had an impact. But I thought all characters would be very impactful, to be honest. Ryan, how about you?
You thought right. You thought right. They are very impactful. I think it's hard in terms of characters. I mean, it's like picking your favorite child. I think all of these all of these characters have lived with me for so long, and whether I like it or not, there's pieces of me, like in like my soul. I can't pick up this script without feeling emotional. And there's aspects of my life that I've given to near enough every single one of these characters in one way or another, you know, and I'm talking about proper stuff like heartache, like pain, like joy. But there's a character of Onyx, you know, and one of the main things that he's searching for in this is love, you know, and for me, something I've spoken to with the cast and with Tristan a lot is where is the space for Black men to want to be in love, and where is the space for Black men to love and to actually learn that. And that was a massive part of my journey into manhood. You know, I'm happily married now, but for a majority of my life, love was one of those things that I felt like I was not worthy of. It was something that I wouldn't even try and get into, you know, and the way that I would shape my life around that. So yeah, there's one monologue from the character of Onyx. I think it's his second to last monologue, that every time I go through it, it's emotional. But yeah, you're gonna have to wait to see. You have to wait to see, man. Some good stuff.
I'm looking forward to it. All this stuff about it is making me want to see it tomorrow. I'm looking at it.
Not tomorrow. Give us some more time, man.
I want to see it now.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Tristan, this is for you now. So for Black boys, mixes movement, music, storytelling, and verse. How did the different mediums blend together to tell the story, and what medium was your favorite to explore?
So I love mixing movement and music in my work because I see music as a character and movement as a way of exploring the unsaid, not just the unsaid, the other, the spiritual, the higher realms of whatever we are. So that's how I use it, and that's what we're exploring in this, and seeing how they both talk to each other. And in this, I guess in the music in this play definitely comes from the boys' lives, but not just the boys' lives. It's like music you've heard before, but in the way that it's being explored now, especially as a lot of the times the words end up actually sometimes singing some of the songs, or re-listening to the lyrics again, or things like that. The songs mean something different, and the songs mean something deeper. When it comes to movement, I guess it's about, let me tell you something. If you want to see black boys sweating, if you want to see them sweating, they will be sweating. That's number one. And number two, like in terms of movement, we will be exploring, like, how do I explain it? I guess movement right now, we've been using it to explore their imagination and how far they can go and how many things that they can become in this very like intimate space. And I think that's been exciting. I can never really choose which ones I like most because they both work in tandem. In terms of the poetry and the verse, it's like that deeper level of understanding what you've been through. It's like it's almost like it works like a musical, but it's not a musical. It almost like it works like that poetry in that verse is taking you to a higher level. That moment, that feeling gets dissected and understood, and then suddenly you are connected to this thing, this higher origin. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm speaking in verse in myself, hey, but like it's this higher origin, and articulating that. I don't think I can choose one because they all work in tandem and they're all doing different things and they're all doing quite powerfully imaginative, for me anyway, spiritual things, whether dark or light, whether yin or yang, if you want to say. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
No, thank you. No, that makes sense to me. Ryan, it's clear that you're passionate about drawing attention to Black male experiences. I did see your play Typical. I saw it on, digital rather than in real life, which focuses on the brutality of Black man faces on a night out. It's a very sad play at the end. Are there any other experiences that you would like to explore in the future when it comes to the Black male perspective of life?
I think in terms of stuff that are ongoing and things that we're dealing with right now, I think For Black Boys really does that. I think when we were doing early marketing for this, I said it's probably going to be one of the most important things I ever write, and I stand by that. But something I'm really interested in now is also seeing Black men in scenarios that don't exist yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Afrofuturism, and I want to see us in situations where, we see white people in all the time. I want to see us, exploring the universe and moons. I want to see us being able to be free and to be nerds or to be things that, do you know what I mean? There's so many different aspects that I want to touch on now. I think this is the most raw and real in terms of what's happening right now. But like I'm saying, I feel like the work I've done between this Queens of Sheba and Typical has given me now room to kind of explore the stuff that I actually really wanted to explore when I first started writing. But I was like, yo, I need to literally lay down some foundations, and I need to speak about the things that are difficult to speak about. And now I just want to write people in spaceships. That's what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? I want to do a ballet. I want to do an opera. I want to do some other stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I hope that answered your questions. But yeah, there's many situations. Like Black people are people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like we're actually just people, and it's a shame. I think one of the things I wanted to tackle with Typical is the fact that our lead character in Typical is just a man until he leaves that house. Do you know what I mean? He's not a Black man in that house. He's just a man, and then he leaves that house, and society goes, "No, you're a Black man, so you're gonna go through A, B, and C." You know what I mean? But I would love to be in a position where I could write Black characters who were just characters and happened to be Black, and race wasn't something that they had to tackle every single flipping day. Do you know what I mean? That's the freedom that I want to have as a writer. But I also have to be true to my characters and know that the moment that they step into that corporate world, or in this world or in that world, then there are other things that they're going to have to face. So yeah, society will shape my writing and my characters in years to come. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think I always say the same thing, where I always believe that I always prefer plays where it just shows us being us. Like, why can't it, like, if I watch a play, why can't that character be a Black person? Why does it have to, like, living a normal life, doing their normal things? We are the same. As like, we live and breathe in the same, like, air that everyone else. We go through very similar experiences. Why can't it be shown on screen, or more importantly, theatre? I think theatre slightly behind on these kind of things, but I think now is the most important time for our stories to be represented, like in the way it should be represented, to be honest. So yeah, good on you, Ryan,
bless you, man,
for doing this. Tristan, you directed Little Baby Jesus at the Orange Theatre, which I did see. I really liked it. What has been your best project, or your apart from this one, what has been your favorite project so far? Because you're also a writer as well, so it could be directing or writing.
I feel like I can actually split that, because as a director, apart from this play, which has been a dream to do, like, I feel like Little Baby Jesus was, I don't know if it's the best, because I'm not dead yet, but it was one of the most important things that I've ever had to do, because it was divine intervention. I've been wanting to do that play since I was 16. And I'm now 27, and I ended up doing it when I was like 25, 26. And that was one of the most important places for me to do, because I felt like when I first read it, and when I saw the very, very first scratch of it, I was in love with the idea of these three young people exploring their imagination through their stories. And I think as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old watching it, it was like, and reading it as well, it was like, wow, I've not seen my peers written in this way ever. But at the same time, as they're being written and as they're writing, I'm like, I hear them, but I hear a higher version of them. And I was like, I want to honor that. I must honor that. So that was one thing. And then in terms of writing, I wrote a play called Speak Like Chocolate Boy. Number one, I'll be honest, because I love that song, and like that's my favorite song in the whole world. And I don't even know why, but I guess it means something more to me. And I really love the 90s. I really love garage music, but I also wanted to write something like Ryan that was like, I guess, tackling our subjects, but just allowing us to be a bit more fantastical, a bit more spiritual. So it was like going through present day and 90s and time traveling, and like we have like spirits and demons and ghosts and all of that ish inside it. And it was so fun to write. And it let me know that, oh, I can write. I can actually do what I want to do. And that was powerful for me. I just don't want to say that it's the best, because the best is yet to come. Mm-hmm. But I will say that those are very important to me, and I'm going to jump off those to do more. I mean, Little Baby Jesus, doing that show has highly influenced how I do disco for Black boys. In a myriad of ways, I've learned a lot. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Nice, thank you so much. Sorry. So this is a question for both of you, which is, what message would you like the audience to take away from your play instantly?
That Black boys are human. That Black boys are seen and that we need to see them. I hope that makes sense, but I really want young Black men to feel seen, and I really want the wider society to go, wow, we really see you, in a way that we've never been able to before, for a variety of reasons. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as that.
Thank you.
For me, I want people, like I said earlier, first thing, I want people to go like, "Wow, we can do this. We can imagine this far and this wide and this wildly." And I want you to be able to lead the theatre doing that. But also, in terms of on a deeper emotional level, I want you to be able to watch this play and think about your brother or your father or your friend or your teacher or the guy that you see every day empty the bins, and just take on board that they all have stories. And those stories are important to listen to because they'll teach you a lot about you. I want the Black boys that come in just to watch the show to feel held, and feel like you are allowed. I don't care about myself. I don't care about the oppressor. I don't care, but I'm not giving him space right now. I'm tired of giving him space. This is your space, and I want you to know that you are being held. You are brilliant. You are wonderful. You are human, as we've just said, and that there are people out there that need to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you. And if you can both summarize the play in one word, what would it be?
Epic.
Nice.
Oh, that's hard. Juicy. Juicy. Nice. And a soda. Juicy.
That sounds good. So it's a juicy and epic play, which definitely sounds good. And my very final question is about both of you. What is your next project after this play?
Why should I go first? I want to do 100 million things. I'm not the only one doing things. Yeah. So right now I'm trying to write like a 3-part, like write and direct like a 3-part sort of epic for the drama schools, like where they're all connected to like an English classic of some sort, and just be mixing it and doing our own version of it. So I'm at one drama school at the moment, called Art Edge. I'll be doing that. I'm writing. I'm waiting for the next job. So if anybody wants to give me something, go. I'm here. But pay me as well. But
I am can you hear me? No, it's a bit weird at the moment. Oh, you can hear me. What am I doing next? I'm doing quite a few things, man. I'm doing a lot of TV. So I'm currently on about 5-6 TV projects at the moment. And then I'm working with some like The Kiln, Soho, Manchester International Festival, National Theatre. So I'm doing a lot of theatre as well. And then there's like personal projects I want to do. I want to make some films and stuff. So, and I'm having kids and stuff. So.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Which is very, is very much part of my process. So yeah, it's very busy. 18 months ahead. Yeah.
It will be extremely busy. My sister's having a baby in like 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, same.
So it's same due date.
Yeah,
kind
same
of time.
Just moved house as well, so everything is crazy right now, but it's good.
It's exciting. I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations to your sister, though.
Thank you.
Oh yes, with my sister, I was like, huh? What's she done? Yeah. Congratulations to your sister.
Yeah. Congratulations to your wife too.
Thank you. Someone's about to get to. Sorry, whoa, it's late. Yeah.
No, that's very exciting. Yeah. I love hearing when people have kids. Like, it's just so fun to hear. I think, oh, good luck.
Yeah. It's fun to hear. Yeah, it's different to actually go to process.
Yeah, the process. I've seen it now with my sister.
Yeah. How many does she have?
So she's got a daughter already who's 2, my niece. So it's going to be a second child. Okay. I think she's due. I want to say it's 2 weeks because coming towards the end of October.
Perfect.
But she's
nice, man.
She's due. So yeah, I wish you the best. This is your first time being a dad, right?
No, my 4th.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, lucky.
If you know what it is, it's the melanin.
He
looks at his melanin and he said, "You ain't done this before."
You know what it is? It's the work. The work is so fulfilling that it keeps me young. That's what it is.
Honestly.
All kids, wow.
Yeah. No, we do this properly, professional front.
I love it. They're really flying.
It's so good. Yeah.
No, that's really nice.
Good. Bless you, man.
Well, thank you both so much. And it's late as well, so thank you for kind of like.
It's all good, man.
Staying up to chat to me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it on the 15th, Friday the 15th.
Yeah. Come ready to give.
I will. I'll be ready to give my
review. Throw out them stars, isn't it? In it, Tristan. Throw out them stars, man.
I'm sure we just from what you guys are saying.
Galaxy with how many stars we are in. Yeah, put us in the galaxy, us in the universe, because you're gonna be blinging. That's what I want.
I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be good. Like, I don't doubt it. Especially the topic is my kind of topic. So
yeah, wicked, man.
Thank you both so much. Lovely meeting you both.
And you. See you soon, man.
Take care. Yes.
All right. In a bit.